There comes a point in every raid journey where you start to realize something. Dungeons just don't hold the same value that they used to. But are they obsolete? Well, yes and no. Sure, we're pretty much swimming in gear now from pretty much every direction. You've got Hydra gear, Cursed City, Forge Pass, crafting in general. We even get live arena gear. We get event dungeon gear. There is so much of it going around. But it kind of makes me ask an even more important question. Are we actually getting the right gear? Because that's where things get a little bit interesting. Today, I want to break down something that I've been noticing for a little while. How one dungeon has basically risen from being nothing but a chore, arguably everyone's least favorite dungeon, to now pretty much something that could be considered meta. That's right. We are going to be talking about the Ice Golem. Let's do it. Guys, before we go ahead, just letting you know, I've got a new player promo link and it is waiting for you in the pinned comment and description of this video. It is going to get you off to a solid head start in raid with a free legendary and 3 free epics as you level up your account. Here's what you need to do. You'll want to log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall the game. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email address. Launch raid, complete your tutorial, go to your inbox and claim your first free champion. It's a good one, guys. You don't want to miss it. So why am I suddenly doing the one thing I never thought I would do, that is simping for the Ice Golem? Well, simple really. Suddenly we can now actually do this dungeon quite quickly and with a lot more reliability than we could before. Previously, we were kind of locked into, if it was normal mode, we would have to take the guy down with poison, so a lot of tactics were basically run it solo in a regeneration set with a poisoner, or in hard mode, it was the same thing, run it solo with someone that could just burn the enemies, once again in a regeneration set. But what it really meant was 5, 6, 7 minute runs, and when you're trying to get raid done, waiting 7 minutes for a dungeon is just really not that much fun. But we got a little AI update a while ago, which allowed people to finally make a kind of speed tune. And that AI update was for Newt. He no longer targets the ads with his A3, which was incredibly annoying. And instead, he now goes after the boss. Now, we all know that the harder you hit the boss, the harder the guy smacks you back. But what it actually allowed us to do was to craft a team that kind of gets around that mechanic, because we could bring in block debuffs and block damage in the form of, let's say, Maneater, as I've got in this team here. Bring in a reset, and then you can essentially just chump this boss down 30% at a time, reset, and do it all over again, and just get it done quickly. Suddenly, the 5, 6, 7 minute run became 1 minute, or maybe even 30 seconds. It just made this dungeon a lot more viable, a lot less of a headache, and it really has stopped us getting crucified by the horrible 3% resists that can happen when playing this game. So being able to do it fast is a very nice luxury. Sure, we all want to do things as quickly as possible, but what is it that's actually made me think that this dungeon is actually the new meta? Simple. I would argue it's all about the reflex set. And yes, I know everyone's going to have a different opinion on this. This is simply just my opinion. But when we factor in that we're already getting speed and bunches of other stats coming from elsewhere, reflex set allows us to bring our most powerful champions into dungeons or any other content and ensure that they do their most powerful skill as often as possible. Let's think about someone like Marius for a second. His A2 is arguably one of the best skills in the entire game. It is just an absolute wrecking ball from the sky that just turns enemies into nothing and allows you to basically run any content a lot faster than you previously could. But obviously you've got to wait for those skills to cycle. So as soon as you bring reflex into the mix, you're actually upping your chances of getting back to that skill quicker so that your champions can do what they're meant to do as often as possible. Yes, we do have Merciless, which you could argue does exactly the same thing on a 4 set, and it also gives you stats along the way. But if you're wanting to bring in a champion that's not a DPS, then you're kind of losing out along the way by actually putting Merciless on them. Plus, Merciless is incredibly rare. We can only get a little bit every month from a Cursed City rotation, all that just to get a reset on your skills, when you could actually just go into Ice Golem, farm that, and just up the chances in a more kind of controlled way. And what about Cursed Set? That's something that changed a little while back. Suddenly that became incredibly valuable because it allowed us to put out Hex, which when you think of something like maybe Chimera or Hydra or Cursed City, just helps your team do even more damage and maintain even more control over the fight. I'm not saying burn all of your energy just chasing Cursed, but having a few really good Cursed sets on your account, combined with free gear removal, suddenly makes this dungeon even more exciting. Another thing that we can consider is A1 skills on champions have started to get quite interesting. If we think of someone like a Ramantu, he's got a chance of putting skills on cooldown with his A1. So has Armand's. We could even consider someone like a Fabian, who reduces turn meter on an A1. A lot of champions have AoE attack A1s or any other form of debuff on the A1. So suddenly, another set from the Ice Golem has kind of risen in value again, and that is the Retaliation set. If we think of someone like an Arix, who's got an incredibly powerful AoE smack on her A1 that also has a chance of removing buffs, and if she crits boosts her own turn meter, suddenly you can work some really interesting synergy into your builds where you can rely on them getting hit and essentially just clapping back and doing more to the enemy team. It just got a little bit interesting. So in conclusion, am I saying ditch all the dungeons and just farm Ice Golem? No, because at the end of the day, if you're progressing, gear is going to be a win. And also, we don't really have a choice. If you want to complete a fusion, you're going to have to do all the dungeons. If you want to compete in any of the tournaments, you're probably going to have to do some of these dungeons as well. Plus, it's always nice when we get the 2x and 3x on Speed, Savage, stuff like that. But I genuinely think over the course of this year, with just how powerful our champions have become anyway, suddenly Ice Golem actually feels like a good pick. So that's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe and let me know what you think, because it's official. I'm now simping for the Ice Golem. Who knew? See you in the next one, guys.